Hey, I'm back. Hold on, family. Hold on. Hello? Trying to see something, family. Trying to see something, family. Okay. All right. Okay. Again, welcome, family. Welcome to third part three in our community. Where's the OGs and elders when I need and others? That's part three. And waiting for some more people to come in. Already did the Ozzy Brothers earlier. Go and check that out. Very much appreciated. Um, Again, it's going to be a panel discussion tonight. Um, we're gonna dig in. We're gonna dig in. We're gonna dig into this the topic in our community. Where's the OGs and elders when I need and others? I did part one and two, breaking down certain aspects. But it's going to be another aspect tonight that I will talk about it. That is very important. And it got something to do with somewhat about social media. You know. So, gonna wait some people to come in. Get some more people to come in. Cut this off. Might turn it back on. They never know, but it is a problem, family. It is a problem that our young ones doesn't feel wanted. They don't get the nourishment and the love and the guidelines to help grow. And our generation, in many levels, we failed them. And we're gonna talk about, like I said, on social media. You know, again, waiting for some people to come through. Yeah, Art. There you go. There you go. Um, yeah, how you feel? You want to come to the panel? It's up to you. So we're gonna dig in deep um on the issue tonight. So, like I said, it's gonna be a panel discussion. Okay. All right, hold on, bro. Let me get you on. Okay, here it is, brother. I'm seeing the link right now. You just come through. Well, we're gonna wait for some more people coming. I know how sometimes YouTube get be slow. And also I did Ozzy Brothers earlier at at 6 o'clock. Had a good old time. Play some of the Ozzy Brothers songs, how it impact our lives, especially us as a people. So I want y'all to check that out and get them lights up on that one. Welcome, Art. How you feel, brother?
Man, I'm just doing my thing, man. I got only so much battery time left on this thing. And I gotta move around a little bit, but
Okay.
just here with the missus.
Oh, Mrs. Sorry. Sorry, miss. I don't want to take up your husband. I know how it is. Sorry.
Yeah, just cause just want to give some support, you know,
I appreciate that.
just give some
Um,
shout out and things. And,
yeah, yeah. So,
uh,
I'll just let you know why I developed this topic. This is part three. It is because I talk about in our generation, we don't want to be accountable. And when I'm talking about tonight, it's gonna be like social media. And it's gonna be about how some of our young brothers and sisters had to grow up to be OGs instead of just live their life, and then when the time comes when they get to a certain age, they can move into the to the OG status, and in the elder after that in the elder status. And we
yeah,
yeah, and we do not like to talk about it. That's why I talk about, like, when you have time, once you listen part one and two, you get what I'm saying. But now
mhm,
part three is going to be about basically basically talk about social media and relationships and stuff. So I'm gonna chime into this tonight because it needs to be talked about. I feel this issue is not being really mentioned, and we gotta
yeah.
do a better job. We gotta do a better job. Nate, oh, Black Nader, how you doing? How you feel? So I'm trying to, like, get the sisters and the brothers and mix it up, like some young, some our age. And Black Native, hold on, we'll get you on. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like the OG, I guess the ones that's trying to claim OGs, they don't want to put in the work to be called an OG. They just want to be
hmm
called the OG just because. Like that came to that realization when because it's funny. I was teaching in a blood neighborhood, and later on, I started teaching in the Crip neighborhood,
yeah.
and it was funny how some of the guys were telling me that, oh, my OG don't let me do this, and I'm like, who's your OG? He gave me a name, and I'm like, that dude just graduated. How could he be? I'm like, what? That's when I came to realization that it just don't take much to be an OG these days, according to these kids.
hmm
Like you could just, it's almost like you could just. I mean, look at Chris Brown, man. You know this dude had to pay. He had to purchase his membership in the Blood gang.
Mm.
I
Wow.
get two different stories. Some people say he got put on, and some people say that he paid for it. But I'm
Wow.
like, I remember, when I was younger, no question, when you were younger, OGs used to have a cane,
Mhm.
they had a family, they put all that stuff behind, but they were able to take care of business when they had to. You
And they was into, like, workshops. They was into houses. They was into clubs. Like, they play checkers. Like, if they want to talk, they pull you on the side and teach you certain things.
you
And,
didn't frown too much at the OG. OGs, we didn't really frown when we saw OG. It was like,
no,
oh,
he
he
was
really such and
happy.
such. Yeah, it was like a celebrity. Like you
Like,
such and
they
such.
happy to see you too. You know what I'm saying? Especially you do good in school. I see what you're doing. Maybe, you know
Yep,
what I'm saying. And they was happy to see. You know what I mean?
yep.
and it was like it's like a joy. You know what I'm saying? Like when an OG talks to you, that's like you got to stamp on your chest or something.
Yep. Yep. They looking at you from afar. They making sure nobody mess with you.
Yeah, they make sure. Now, listen, I don't know what you do. You don't touch this. The other
Hmm.
one I had nothing to say. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember them days.
I remember it because it happened to me. Like,
Yeah.
nah, no, you don't, nah. You
Yeah,
know
because
what?
I was talking to Aaron.
Yeah,
I was talking to Aaron about this. I guess it was. I don't hear I don't hear the Pookie and Ray Ray names anymore. But he was talking about how Pookie, the Pookies and Ray Rays were protecting him, and I was like, well, who do you think the Pookies and Ray Rays were protecting you from?
right,
Pookie and Ray Ray.
right.
they, they would protect you from another Pookie. So the whole thing is that there's no such thing as a whole. What do you call it? You can't paint the whole thing with a broad stroke. There's some bad ones, some good ones.
Yeah, and I think that people want to glamorize the Pookies and the Ray Rays, but instead of glamorize, I'm not saying all of them is bad, like you said, but we got to put some respect of the real OGs and the elders.
That's
Those are
right.
the ones that really protect our community. Those are the ones like the bad Pookies and Ray. And you notice that when they talk about the Pookies and Ray, they never talked about the bad about why they become that way.
Yeah, the ones that's killing your mom and killing the kids. How you gonna mix them guys up with the ones that's taking care of the community?
Yeah.
I,
And so when I was looking at that, what's going on, that's what makes me create, the OGs, the OGs and elders.
yeah.
Because it wasn't enough respect. We're talking about the OGs and the elders, of that time, of the time we came. It wasn't. And so
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And I know you're hitting it on the head where people put in work, and when people put in work, respect is much needed.
yeah,
You know,
you
I don't know
can
why people try to ignore the fact. I'm like, matter of fact, they put in the work that most people don't even feel like doing.
right, and exactly. So now we saying that and again, I'm not knocking the good Pookies and Rays. Now we're gonna say the Pookies and the Rays is replacing the OGs and the elders, and then the one OG and the elders, they're not talk up for themselves. They just letting it go. Nah, that I don't know no Pookie and Ray with no OGs and elders. I wasn't raised that way. You wasn't raised that way. If anybody, nah. I mean, I knew some Pookie Rays when I was growing up, but they were, I think when it comes down, it's not all about the code. It's all about respect.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And like I said, it's funny, dude. Think about it. Imagine imagine growing up under those Pookie and Ray Rays, but later on they become your students.
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine them, then you're more responsible. Matter of fact, you're responsible for Pookie's son now.
Right.
Think about that, man.
Yeah.
Pookie and Ray Ray's, the guy that protected you, you're teaching his son.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Think about that, man.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So, and then if the son get out of line, I could just call Pookie. Dude, I know we go back a long way, but your son is cutting up in class. Oh, I'll take care of
Yeah.
it. Click.
And go more deep in that. How about you have beef with Pookie back in the days, and then y'all straighten it out? Or
Yeah.
sometimes maybe they didn't straighten out that Pookie's son his son became a student, and he ain't got no choice to listen to authoritative head because his son is in it, so he don't have no choice.
Yep. Yeah. So I had, it's funny because I had situations like that where I'm like, I see the last name and I'm like, who's your dad? And he tell me, and I'm like, huh? And then I said, does your dad know you in my class?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I said, matter of fact, text him right now, see what he say. I mean, I do things like that, man. So I'm, I still have ties in the community, that I came from, and it's almost like you can't shake it off. So even going back to the part, even going to the part of being part of the growth from their children. So it's an ongoing thing. It's just that you just have another chance to make things, better than the past. You got that chance now. You got a responsibility. I ran into a lot, man.
Yeah, now talk about somewhat of part 1 and 2, where we gonna talk. I want to talk about how social media is, how they did not, how the OGs and elders is not using social media to help out our young ones. I'm talking about, you see the young ones do a lot of dumb stuff, and our OGs and elders is not stepping up, and instead of helping them to say things in an organized way, they amping them up and everything, and they are not stepping up to be true the OGs. And then at the OGs, we ain't gonna talk about the elders, because the elders in our community is not growing up now. They just want, like, I'm tired, but it's got to be wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Have to form. And I feel that tonight that I want to do this, I want to talk about is social media, how the OGs and elders in our community has failed, even the younger ones, even in our generation. How they don't want to take responsibility to take him on us to use social media for the benefit. Listen, I'm gonna take you in the back check. This how you supposed to. I understand like that because I was and we're seeing it's not really happening as you already seen. That's what I want to talk about that tonight. And other
I'm gonna touch on some of your talking points on what you said on a few panels ago, where where accountability is needed. When you were really touching on some of the sisters saying a lot of disparaging things that's not productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about that yesterday on LMP's channel, and I was mentioning that, we complain about it. We know a lot of that stuff they say is bogus, but and a matter of fact, we were on the same panel with Information Man. My concern with that is that they say these things, but later on, some of them grow up, they find a good man, they change, they find Jesus, whatever, Allah, and they become good women. But the problem that still remains is that child that they had is harboring some of the stuff that they instilled in them based on their misery. So not only she had a past to where can't no man tell her what's up, she kind of instilled that into their children. So now your children are not going to listen to the OGs or the elders because of what mom left behind when she wasn't in her right mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those things need to be addressed because that's probably one of the, I think we have the same problem with our youth is that we're here, we got wisdom to instill, but the problem is they're beating the drum of their mother's misery. And I'm just, of course, not all the sisters. I know sisters be listening like, man, you talking about all of them. No, I'm talking about the ones that are guilty of this crime.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, I think we have to really, really start bringing up a lot of the positive sisters to make them more accessible to other sisters and brothers that are young that are listening to them, because that's the problem. The ones that are not so positive, the ones that are really throwing us under the bus at will, we got to just take them off that throne. Because here's the thing. They put themselves on that throne, brother. We didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually the queen that we put on the throne, it takes a king to do it. The king does it. He says, hey, this is your throne. You be the queen. But for some reason, some of these chicks crown themselves and basically giving us hell. So I think mainly, part of the puzzle, because I know there's a lot of pieces to this chess game that we're talking about. But I think one of the biggest ones is to establish the queen and then later on knock off all these other people, knock off the rooks, the bishops, knocking them all off, but just establish your queen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think everything else, I mean, everything would be a lot easier.
Yeah, and I
What you
find
think?
that. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that totally. But the thing about how many of us is willing to have that conversation, like right now.
Well, you start small,
Huh?
and they're going to start small, of
No,
course.
no, 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 no. I get what you're saying. Maybe I'm explaining wrong. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You explain small, but how that is going to be consistent? Because what I'm at right now is this that yeah, let's start small, but let it grow consistently. It should not be inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean,
We
that's the
all
part where
we
go
all
ahead.
have to, especially the black man and black woman. We have to understand we all together. And it cannot be like, oh, you just talking about me and all like that. What about no, it's both for us. Because I could tell you like this, there are some of my god kids, they had that problem. And I had to tell them like, you be around people that don't care. And sometimes when I tell them the real, I mean that's not the point. I'm just trying to help you. You cannot followed by anybody. When a person is doing good, that's what you gotta be. And something you think to you is corny, but it's not corny. It's gonna keep you a lot of mistakes. I'm telling you from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Thomas Jr., what's going on, brother? Thanks for coming back. And that is the key, and that's why and one of the reasons also um I created this conversation, part 1 and 2, and going to 3. Because it needs to be said.
Yeah, put that pipeline. Excuse me, we're doing apple pie a la mode in here.
Okay.
If people don't know what that is, but I wish it was a peach cobbler a la mode, but I can only deal with what I got. but
Mm-hmm.
but we have to create that pipeline, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to where I'm gonna repeat what I said yesterday. I was sitting in well, not a panel, but a meeting with black male teachers, and one of the brothers stood up and said, "I went through all these things in my life, and I went into the workforce and gained a lot of wisdom and professionalism,
Mm-hmm.
and I would really feel bad that I would have to go to my grave not instilling it to people that look like me."
Wow.
And he ain't the only one that's saying that or feeling that way.
Right.
So, if you're dealing with the family structure, the mom points the child into the father's direction. He's the man. He's the one. You listen to him. You look at his example,
Right.
right?
Right.
So there got to be an order of how we do things, But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead. No, no, you go. I can wait. You go finish.
I was saying is that it got to be some kind of order
Mhm.
because that whole stay in your lane.
Right.
It holds volumes, even though some women don't like that term. Stay in your lane. What do you mean? Well, you got men's room and you got women's room. What do you call it? Yeah, women's or ladies' room. There you go.
Yeah.
You got, some people wear dresses, some people wear pants. Some people pick up heavy things and some people stay within the range of what they can lift. You
Right.
know, you got to do, whatever is within your nature. You make sure you freak that out as much as you can instead of trying to figure out what somebody else is doing and you're not even mastering your own nature. So when you have an order of things to where certain, they say mother's the first teacher. Okay, if that's the case, what are you teaching them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can't be sitting there trying to reinvent the wheel and try to figure out, oh, this is, since I don't like what I went through when I was young, I'm gonna teach something better. Maybe you didn't get over the stuff that you should have learned when you were younger, and you bringing that crap to your child.
Yep.
Right now it's 2019. We're really running out of time for the foolishness. With the foolishness, We got to get out this foolishness, wake up as much as we can, and start restoring people. Because basically, whoever's left, that's what we're gonna have.
Oh, brother. Hey, what's going on, brother Nehemiah? Hold on. We're seeing the link because you're the person I want you to get on to. Yeah, I think that is the key that we fail to understand that we wasting time and and a lot of it's at stake here.
Yeah.
And I think that we like the brothers that is willing and even the sisters, we just gotta keep on pushing, even sometimes that is frustrating. But there are some that's gonna listen and there's some going ain't. And then you just pray for the ones who did listen, they get it before it's too late and everything. But
you hit the nail on the head. It's consistency. You can't take no breaks from it.
yeah.
See, you can't take a break. I
Right.
mean, it's just like flying, man. Have you heard of anybody parking their plane in the air?
Yeah.
Once you fly it, man, the propellers and everything got to keep rolling so you can make sure you stay in the air.
Right, exactly. Just like I was doing, I did a live stream about the Isaac brothers early.
I missed that one. I was out and about.
Yeah, I want you to hear that. You will love that. And Sister Brenda Johnson, she said you need to do more because you know music. You break down certain things, and it goes to show a consistency that I'm doing, and it's rewarding when you're consistent doing. Big brother Nehemiah, welcome.
Hey, grace and peace, y'all. What's up, JT? How you feeling today, man?
Well, I feel better. I feel better. I thank you for that. Oh yeah, and I did the Isaac brothers early, Nehemiah.
Yeah, I couldn't chime in. I was trying to, help a brother out. I seen you doing it, and I couldn't really chime in because I was, I'm doing what I be doing.
Okay.
But I did see it, yeah. So I'm just getting back, and I had to do some chores here, and I see you on.
Yeah.
I say I can, at least plug in and listen and see what the topic is, what the bill is, and if I'm able, I like to contribute, But I'm trying to do I got some doggone fruits that I need to get in a smoothie, even though I hate doing it that way. I don't want them to rot. So
I heard that, brother.
Yeah. I got you. Autonomy TV. Thanks for showing up. But any queens that want to join the panel on this, that'd be greatly appreciated. So because it's got to come from the black man and the black woman too. And so I just want to take this on, brothers, and to show that I'm trying, and so
getting the ball rolling is probably the most important step. Just getting it going. Getting that whole community where it starts off to how many numbers it'll take to get it done. Because we're still a new concept. Everybody else have ancient stories behind their culture and their nationality or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still building and we're still reforming and grabbing pieces on the way to this whole thing that we call blackness, Negro-ness, niggerness, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're building a relevancy on who we are as a people. I mean, and it's just a matter of making it pure enough to where other people can't come in and mess it up. So people are waking up. They don't have to necessarily leave their religious beliefs, but basically, who are you as a people?
Yeah.
You know, as far as the elders and the OGs, they left books behind. They left videos. They left blueprints behind.
Mm-hmm.
They do that stuff for nothing, you know. So, and it's not all inclusive. I think everything could be used. It depends on what is your expertise to add and to put onto the table.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's true. Welcome, She Stay Sleep, brother. Peace to you.
Sheep stay sleep in the building.
Peace. Peace to y'all, brothers. Peace to everybody in the chat. What's going on?
What's going on? We're gonna do tonight in our community. Where's the OGs and the elders when I need in others? Part 3, and we talking about social media, how we could use social media to help our young ones, and also how the OGs and the elders in our community is not doing the job through social media to help our young ones. And how do you feel about that, bro? Your take on it? Oh, excuse me.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I feel like it takes certain criteria for you to even be considered an OG or elder.
Mm-hmm.
You could be 70 years old and just be an old nigga.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter how many years you've been on earth. You know, that doesn't make you an elder or an OG to me. It's about what you've done and the people you've impacted. If you haven't had any impact on anyone, or you haven't really done nothing, you just been a rolling stone your whole life, I don't care how old you are. You're not an OG and you're not an elder. You're just an old nigga.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start out by saying that a lot of these people are not OGs.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you 50 something years old and you grew up in the hood don't make you a OG.
Facts.
And just because you 75, 80 years old don't make you an elder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm speaking from a younger person's perspective.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm 32, I'll be 33 in like 2 more weeks. And a lot of the young dudes that I watch grow up, they call me old, like I'm old. And I'm only in my 30s. And you know, I grew up in a time where, you know, we ain't just call people old. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
from a younger person's perspective, the respect from the youth dealing with older people in the neighborhood comes from how you interact with them.
Yeah.
If all you doing is telling these young boys to get out the hallway and you gonna call the cops on them if you don't, you'll never be respected as an elder or an OG.
Yeah.
If all you do is judge and condemn the black youth that's in your neighborhood, you cannot be an OG or an elder. Because to be an OG or elder, in my book, the one thing you gotta have, 2 things you gotta have. Well, I'm gonna say 3 things: is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly nowadays, why a lot of these young boys and these young women don't respect older people is because a lot of and I'm just speaking, I'm not talking about y'all on the panel. I'm just saying a lot of y'all older people are not in tune with the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are far behind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't understand what's going on in your neighborhood because you in the house all day and you watching everything from your window, then I can understand why you have the perception you have. You think these boys is just out here killing each other for no reason. But if you actually did an experiment and stayed out there with them for a week and just chilled with them to 3, 4 in the morning and listen to how they talk to each other and how they interact and you kind of can gauge what they're dealing with in their life. And you can't be an OG if you don't know the young boys on your block. If the young boys don't know you when you walk on your block, you're not an OG. They don't know you. They don't know you. And if they don't know you, they definitely not going to respect you. So if you just some old nigga that sit in your window and talk about, oh, look what they doing outside, you're not considered nothing. You're a civilian. That's what you are. And civilians need to stay in their place. Period. Be a civilian. But don't expect to get no respect, because they're not gonna respect you, because you have to earn their respect. And the way you earn their respect is they have to feel like you are relatable.
Right.
Can they look at you or listen to you and hear what they hear from each other when they speak? And I'm not saying sitting around cursing. I'm not sitting around speaking about none of that. The youth know it's a vibe. If they can't vibe with you, if they consider you lame or you're corny, don't try to hang around them. Don't try to kick game to them. See, these young dudes, and these young women, they don't want to hear your knowledge or your wisdom or your understanding on life if you are not relatable. Meaning, if you can't speak to them in a way that they can understand it on their terms at this current moment, then you're going to lose them. They're going to tune you out. So don't come up to them on no preaching stuff. Don't come up to them talking about Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey. You can't come to them like that.
No, you can't. Right.
You cannot come to them like that. You can't tell them what the civil rights movement. You cannot come to them like that. Just like in the Bible, they say what? Jesus hung out in the most wickedest places. Why? Because he was relatable. So he went to the bars and was able to transform people's hearts into becoming holy people and to stop drinking. But he wasn't telling people to stop drinking in a rehab center. He went to the goddamn bar and he didn't tell them to stop drinking. What he did was he spoke the word in a way that it will touch them, and that made them want to stop drinking.
They didn't want to stop drinking, right?
You see what I'm saying? So if you are OG or you call yourself an OG, you should be able to do that. You should be able to call off something that them young boys getting ready to do. Yo, where y'all going? Some of y'all dudes can't even ask the young boys on y'all block where they going. They'll ignore you. They'll look at you like, who is this dude? So if you don't have that type of vibe with them, I mean, you pretty much fall off. Yeah. And as far as social media is concerned, a lot of the elders, a lot of them are not computer savvy. They don't have knowledge of the computer. You see what I'm saying? So they don't really need to be on social media. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was going to put a slightly different perspective, because I'm hearing relatable, and I kind of get it as far as familiarity, to where if I'm not familiar with you, then you don't earn my respect. Well, that's cool, but the other side also is that if you're this great person that's of elderly status or OG status or whatever, I believe you are the standard of the community that people have to reach up to your level. And the thing is that what we lost with our youth is the sense of drive and power. Okay. Right now, they're all over the place. And the thing is, don't get me wrong, I am one of the biggest advocates of the young because there's a lot of so-called elderly or elders or whatever it is. They speak down on our young. So I get that part. But the part that we have to look at on the other side is that, I mean, look at Takashi 69, look at all that other kind of stuff. That's glorified. I mean, our youth is looking at dudes wearing dresses, and I'm not talking about all of them, but it's becoming more of a norm each day to where they're fighting you saying, "What's wrong with that?" So that's the homie wearing a dress. You know, there has to be some kind of way to where the standard is already set, which it is kind of in a way, but you got to remember other nationalities, they got their little issues too, but ours is much more dire because hell, we're the greatest people on the earth here. We have different things that we can use, not to just repeat it, but just to be greater than it. And so basically when you have somewhat of a legacy or a past or whatever of the glory days, not just no slave narratives. And because if you notice when you're in school, they tell you about black history, and usually at the end the guy dies in these black history courses in schools. But you already know that your best history is out of the schools. And the thing is that when you have that as a foundation, then basically you know where to go to from there. Because a lot of problems that we have is that we keep reinventing the wheel because we find new is sexy. And just because of the youth feels that new is sexy, because I think a lot of us that were younger as well felt that just because this was new, it was better than A, B, and C. But you still not, and it kind of, I don't know if he touched that in the Isley Brothers thing, but you have to know the difference between the twist and shout from the Beatles, the Isley Brothers. A lot of people like the Beatles because it was popular,
Hmm.
but the real people knew what twist and shout was all about and felt that soul because they knew the history behind that song.
Well, I
And it
did
had a,
talk about that.
oh, there you go. See,
Not the
I knew
Beatles,
you would. I knew
not
you
the
did.
Beatles top, but I talk about the twist and shout and the shout. What it means when the Ozzy Brothers did the shout, the historical content, us as a people, but why that message was not being. Well, you can hear it.
Yeah, I knew you. That's why I brought it up because I knew you touched on it because that was more churchy, where you had the Beatles doing some old Liverpool, whatever. And the thing is that what I'm touching on though is that you know sometimes because I see some of the so-called elders try to make these mistakes by trying to be hip hop and try to have some kind of swag and stuff like that where, I mean, last time I checked, you're supposed to grow up instead of grow down. So my whole thing is that, and believe it or not, I do talk a lot with Professor Griff, and we have these conversations about touching the youth. And when I say go back and forth, some things we agree with and some things we disagree with. And one of the things that he keeps pushing is that you got to speak the language of the youth. And I asked him, after you speak the language of the youth, then what? He couldn't answer that. He said it is what it is. I'm like, that you can't just say it is what it is, and I take Griff as my elder. That's the guy that was responsible for me wanting, getting into the teachings and stuff like that and doing knowledge of self. I told him that. I humbled myself and told him straight up. If it was for him and Public Enemy, I probably wouldn't be, here getting him access as a guest lecturer in my class. So it came back full circle.
Hmm.
So I'm just saying straight up is that, I think mainly I'm just putting balance. I'm not doing any disagreements or anything. I'm just trying to put balance here. is that you really, just to echo what Sheeps is saying, you really have to come real. You got to come real to the youth because basically they are a more pure spirit than we are. And right now, they're being taken every which way from the powers that be, giving them all this crap on the social media and stuff like that. And you got to remember, social media is a low electromagnetic wave that goes through your body. So therefore, everything you see on TV, it ain't real. Computers ain't real. Even there are conversations. We don't know who we really are as a people behind the computers or the phones. You have to really confirm that. So what's happening? These messages are not being pure in our bodies. Now imagine going through this, growing up, and what is high electromagnetic waves? The sun in your face. You look at the wind blowing the trees back and forth. You hear actual water moving. Because what you're doing is you're stimulating your body to nature. And guess what? The youth does not really have any kind of closeness to nature as much as much they should. So when we try to give them these jewels that we call or this game or whatever, it kind of like takes a back seat to what's going on in social media. So when you do hear some young people say, "Hey, he's speaking game," and the ones that do listen to us, I mean that's a rarity, but and I do applaud those young brothers that really listen to us. But the masses are out there that got their ears covered to social media. So as far as trying to reach them through social media, I think us as older people. I don't know about elders or OGs, but just as older people, I think we have to just start walking in their area and seeing them face to face. Because that like Sheeps was saying, the guy that's always just saying all negative things about the young, you ain't gonna get nowhere with that at all. But last thing I would say is though, there got to be some time where the young has to know. I mean, there has to be a time where the young has to be hungry for some kind of knowledge to get them to greatness instead of settling for what social media lies to them about. There got to be some time for that.
But see, I'm a I agree with what you're saying, and I say that as far as what Griff said, we got to speak their language. Their language is hip hop. That is the language pretty much for the black for the black youth or the youth around the world. I wouldn't even just say black. You can go across this whole world. Everybody loves hip hop. This is why social media is so big, because how all of your biggest stars right now in hip hop come from where? Social media. So after we speak their language, what needs to happen is we need to let them understand what they're actually up against. Because see, what I do with the young dudes that I chop it up with from my old neighborhood, I'm gonna tell you what I do. I go around them, they chilling or whatever. I come around them, chilling. We roll up some weed, whatever they doing, and whatever they talking about, I chime in with them. We might be outside for 8 hours just laughing, talking about Chief Keef, talking about what's going on in Chicago, talking about expensive cars, and I do all that with them. But then I come in and I always throw a monkey wrench in there. Yo, y'all know all that shit is fake, right? Oh, come on. How's it fake? But now they're willing to listen. You see, they're willing to listen now and to have that discussion. And then that's when you can give them the knowledge. Also, what opens them up to actually listening to the correct information so they can make the right moves is something that one of my favorite rappers, Jadakiss, said. Funerals bring things back to perspective. And I don't know if anybody in the chat room or any of you guys on the panel, all of these new rappers that are coming out of Chicago, you know they're dead in that gang beef. The rappers that made it in the industry, they not beefing with each other no more. It's the guys that's still in poverty that are still pushing the GDs, the BDs, the Vice Lords, and all that, killing each other. The ones that made it, they not beefing no more. The ones that made it, they homies is not pushing that no more. They're doing songs with quote unquote ops. And you know why they're doing that? Because so many people they knew done died that now in their mind, it's like, damn, something has to change. This has to stop. It has to. So, like I always say, healing is not an event, it's a process. So the process has started in Chicago. It has. And the ones who are going to really stop it is not the OGs. The OGs is in jail. Larry Hoover, Jeff Fort, Chief Malik. Oh, them dudes are in jail. They're never coming home. They political prisoners. So it's going to take the young guys that's going to have to say, listen, y'all, this is not cool no more. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about this on my panel. When I first started my channel, I did a show called We Need to Redefine What Cool Is.
Oh,
but the youth has to do that. They, like, for instance, Meek Mill on New Year's Eve, he put up a post on his Instagram and said, message to the youth. Instead of y'all shooting off guns this New Year's, how about y'all light a candle for all y'all homies who died as a result of gunfire? You see, it starts with dudes like him. Meek Mill also made a post for 2019. Women need to stop wearing wigs. It's going to take dudes like that because they already have an impact on what the youth thinks and how they see life. So the process is coming. It may not be coming fast enough, but I see it. I see it, especially with Meek Mill. Because when he got locked up the last time, I did a video about that.
And he got out like the same time when Bill Cosby was going in, and they both in Philly. Think about that.
And he got out, and now what? His album is about what? Championships. Let's become winners. Let's stop wanting to be in the hood. Let's stop thinking partying in the hood is cool. Let's stop thinking partying with guns on us is cool. That's not cool. Wearing $800 shoes, but your mother still live in the projects and work for $10 an hour, that's not cool, little homie. It's not cool to have on a Rolex, but you can't read. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So it's happening. The process is starting, and I'm seeing it. I'm really, and I'm paying attention to it a lot. If I don't know if y'all really keep y'all posts on the music, but a lot of these young kids that's getting record deals off of their SoundClouds and all of that, they are making introspective music. Right now, the #1 album in the country is Kodak Black. He wants to die to live. If y'all listen to that album, he's giving you his soul. He's telling you who he is, what made him what he was, and who he is now. That's monumental for the youth.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of youth love Kodak Black. A lot of youth love Meek Mill. You see what I'm saying? So it's starting. They love the Little Dirks. They love the Chief Keefs. They love these people. And we can't tell them that they're bad for them. We cannot communicate with them like that. Because when we were growing up, there were artists that we listened to that our parents said, turn that bullshit off.
That's facts.
He's not teaching you anything. What are you learning from him? But then when we listen to their music, we don't want to hear it because it's boring. We can't vibe to it. But guess what? The more we live, just like with these young dudes, the more that they live, they're going to start to understand if they're willing to listen to certain things. I got to put that in there. And they'll be able to figure out all the things that we want from them. Because all of the things that we saying to the youth now is the same shit the elders used to tell us when we was running around being knuckleheads.
Yeah, so what the perspective that I can throw in this as well, you know, being almost JT's age. Shout out to JT.
Yo, that's that stuff, man. Yeah, I'm trying to shit, man. Come on. Yeah, we gonna fight, man.
But I'm gonna offer a method that's never outdated. You know, is that you just take them out of the environment, take them so they won't be distracted for what you're trying to tell them. You just take them out, and the thing is, it's not just telling. And this is usually my method that I learned from people before me. You got to bring out the greatness out of them so they can see it for themselves. And then once they see that greatness, they want to know what else can I do with this? Then you got them. And I maybe because I'm a teacher, that's why. But that's always worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always have the youth, everywhere. I mean, everywhere I go, I'm always seeing someone, hey, you taught me in such and such year. And I'm like, really? I don't even remember these people sometimes. And they tell me what I did for them. I'm like, I did what? They said, yeah, you took me to such and such. Really?
Yeah.
And the thing is that, when you constantly pull them out of an environment that's distracting them from their greatness, wake out of that stupor and find out that they're just as great as anyone else and they're hungry for more. That's another way. Sure. That's another way of really reaching them, is that you can't be afraid of your youth because those are your babies. Those are your babies. Those are the ones that's going to grow up and see you, like I was just telling JT earlier about teaching the OG's children. You know what I mean? And the thing is, I got somewhat of a hip hop background, but mine is like late 80s, early 90s. I have somewhat of an IQ and pretty much an ancient top five as I may. But the thing is that when you have a legacy that nobody else can touch, that's what you're going to keep instilling and giving to them. And, everyone has all kinds of different methods, but as long as it works, that's all I'm looking for. Make sure it works. If it don't work, then try something else new. But in the meantime, me personally, I got to get that greatness out of you because I know that's what you were born with. Got to get it out of you. Some of them, some of them do push back on me with some of that stuff too. But I'm like, I can hear it all day, but at the same time, you are better than what you're showing me now. Let me see it. I get the pushback. Let me see it. Get the pushback later on. They come back. Okay, yeah, I can do this now. And the thing is, it's damn near like them damn Karate Kid movies. I'm tired of waxing the floor. But okay, now, after you did all this kind of stuff, now let's go through the drills now. See, that's because I'm a teacher. As far as me just sitting down and spitting game and all that kind of stuff, I do that too sometimes. But at the same time, I sound repetitive, but the key thing is that when you're looking at the youth, you're looking at a future king. You're telling them that they're a future king. For you to disrespect me like that, that's not the way you were born, son. Let's hear some more superior languages from you, because basically this is what you're supposed to be made of. And some of them try to be cool in front of their friends. I'm like, no, let me take you away from your friends. Let's talk. We have these conversations. And sometimes, I'm not trying to get them to be all mushy and tell them about their past. I'm like, no, we're just going to talk about now, because you don't want to give me all your personal business, because I could use that against you. We're going to talk about you now and how you're going to get from A to B. See, because the whole thing is that, when you lose that fear of those, because you got the stereotypes of the children in your neighborhood. And yeah, we got some kids that probably did some murders. I ain't gonna lie. We got some. I saw some of the bullet sparks and stuff like that, leaving work and all that. I seen that stuff. But they're still kids. They're still teenagers. At some point, there are some grown-ups that they do trust. So there are some grown-ups that they trust that gave them a runaround. So therefore, can't no grown-up tell me anything, because basically all I kept hearing is stuff that I can't use. So when you have that experience and you have that pedigree, and a matter of fact, you can take their hands, their bare hands, and say, this is what you can do with your bare hands, and then step back and fold your arms, and then let them see them discover that for themselves. Then you can tell them class will begin tomorrow. And last time I checked, the OGs that I supposedly have grown up with, they done that to me. They took me around, showed me some things that, either you want to go this way or go that way. It doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to support you. I listen to that. I never forget those experiences. So it's just a matter of just being there and being real. Don't try to be political. I hear some people try to say, well, I do A, B, and C and all that. And I'm like, well, we haven't seen it. I mean, you said it. But, people know who does what.
Yeah. I think before I get to Big Brother Nehemiah Israel, I urge anybody that is not age group, in my generation, I want y'all to take over. I can say take over. Let's build on the topic that I started, and it's very important to put yourself in these young people. Will you want them to have the same success that you did?
I want to be better.
And be better. And I think that sometimes that we be too selfish. We so sentimental. We so much into our own emotions instead of understanding what they going through. And we don't understand. And then we refuse to understand of error what we come about. Now, so do certain morals and values is the same? Yes. But there's certain times that we need to adopt with the times that I felt majority of us is doing. No. I adopt with the times because it ain't all about, oh yeah, I know about this because I love, I love kids. You know what I mean? And I gotta talk to somebody. Sometimes I'd rather talk to young people than older person. Because especially if I talk to a man, he gets smart. I already smack him in his mouth. I'm being honest with you because the way they act, but when you be with that young person, it calms you down. And When I don't talk to some young one, I don't feel right, you know. And then that's what we're talking about. DS1 talking about engage. I think that the area I come from, yeah, you gauge in a certain way, they respect that. But now you got to be more versatile of engaging. You got to be sincere. You got to be real what you're doing, and you got to know the circumstances with these young people is too. And so I'm willing to put myself out there. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to be involved. It's not all about, oh yeah, I want to save our community to be better. Yes, but I say I want to do it because I love them.
And you know what's sad? I'm sorry, brother brother JT, is that the powers that be sees the greatness in our youth more than we do. I want to throw that in there. They see the potential. They see the direction that they could be, and they throw wrenches in there. And matter of fact, they throw that wedge between us and them. You know, and the problem that we have is that we haven't caught the signals yet. Like sheep stay sleep was saying, is that, you know, there's a certain language that they formed, that the only way that you're going to have to do it is through hip hop. And now the problem is, what kind of hip hop? You know what I mean? And you got different, you know, you got South, you got North, you got, you know, East Coast, West Coast, you know, so you got all these different things you got to work with now. But go ahead. I'm sorry, JT.
And so that's what we got to do. We got to develop that, you know, not I say part of the kids, part of our family. And we have to learn to, again, we have to learn to adopt with the times. They have to know that he's trying. And then when they see that, and then they can open it again. See, I'm talking like that because I do it. They told me, I said, yo, you call me Jerry, it's all right. You know, nah, we call you Mr. JT. I said, you don't need to call me that. You just call me JT. Nah. You know, and I get case in point. And then after that, then big brother, then I want you to jump into it, please, because you definitely your wisdom definitely be needed. And I went out, I think it was Sunday. I went to get some stuff. Was it Monday? Yeah, well, it was Monday. I went out, got some stuff for Tuesday, and one of the guys I ain't see, I'm not gonna say his name. He said, "Hey, Mr. JT." I said, "What's up? How you doing? I heard something happen. You all right?" "Man, I'm all right, man. You know, I just came home, man. I'm finishing a halfway house." I said, "What, yo? I got me a job and everything, man." I said, "Get out of here. What you was telling me before? I listened to you. You right, man. Me and Pops chopping it up. And she introduced me to the Pops, man." Like, what? And he said, "Thanks for talking to my son." Because it seemed like nobody. Now, for me, I deal with kids. So whatever I say, as long as I put my seed in it and it grows, I'm fine with that. But he stopped the car. He said, "Thank you." Me and Pops, we chopping it up already and stuff. I said, "Nah, I can't be around here no more, man. You know, it's gotta be trying to be better, man." I said, "Well, here's my number. You need somebody to talk to. And all due respect, Pop." No, I told you get your number. And I felt good after that. And at that time, I wasn't feeling good. So I sat down, because sometimes when we reach these young kids, especially the ones who try to do the work, it's sometimes like a brick in the wall. But when you hear stuff like that, when you have these apples like that, in his home and everything, it makes you work, strive hard, because somebody got it. I feel like this. I ain't gonna say somebody got to do it, but I want to do it. See, sometimes we do it as sport, as a hobby, instead of we want to learn. We want them to strive to be better. And that is a difference. When you strive, you want to do it as a hobby. yo, they gonna see through that. They gonna know, oh yeah, you trying to get numbers on me and stuff like that. I'm not fucking with you. And this is the problem of the OGs and the elders like the DS1s, and then you got a few others that they had to grow up real fast because there's nobody ain't refused to give them the blueprint to strive longer. So when the time comes when it becomes an OG, they be seasoned. Or when it times to be an elder, okay, I'm ready. And then they have to play damn catch up. And while we sit back and don't do shit about it. And that's why one of the reasons I do this, not trying to be, I could do this and that. That's what we gotta have conversations like that. And I urge brothers and sisters that listen right now and in the chat, you gotta take on, you gotta take on these conversations. We gotta save our kids. We gotta do the work and everything. Big brother, sorry I have you waiting. Your insight, please.
Hey, man, what up, Sheep? I kind of trying to get to these things, but from what I gather, you was talking about elders and social media and the youth. What was that question in particular, though? I didn't even write it down, but you were saying, can they reach them or something like that?
Yeah, can I say, I'm about to say in social media, could the OGs and the elders could reach the kids?
Right.
And so
I heard,
Wait, okay.
Yeah, and I heard Sheep, break down his definition, his understanding what an OG was in the youth, and trying to, share, his experience, regarding those elements. The brother that spoke earlier when I came on, Art, he was speaking about, his experience as an educator, I believe, and so, the two, and he said he had a slightly different perspective, and I would start at the top for me. I told you earlier I was at a cousin's house actually. He's 60 some years old, and I went over there to try to help him get his phone together, try to engage him in some of these conversations I'd be having with family members that are in their 50s, because it's a hard thing trying to, have conversations through social media with folk in their 20s and 30s, even 40s. I can do it, but I don't think collectively we can. Like the brother said, there's a difference between an OG, someone that's going to have an accountable conversation, that's going to speak some knowledge, that's going to speak, things that are worthy of speaking, versus, someone just older and just shooting the breeze, just having an everyday conversation. That'd be the other thing. So again, if I start at the top, I got an aunt here that's 95 years old. When it comes to media of her day, she's my great aunt, so she's my parents' auntie. That dementia is there. She had no clue. It's kind of just set in, but she was doing well. She was living by herself for a long while, and in terms of reaching someone, that was always a challenge because there was always, only had an 8th grade education. In our day, we didn't have those opportunities that you guys have. And her favorite line is that, the youth, and that's, I guess, anybody that's less than 95 years old, without that distinction between being older and an OG, she said weaker and wiser. So there is a dispensation that she uses saying that the young folk, they definitely got some information. They definitely got some knowledge when it comes to this information age that we're dealing with. That information comes across and changes so quick that even, the elders are challenged in trying to keep up with so-called information or knowledge. That's why I'm one of them guys that I'm gonna go with the oracle that says, knowledge, ain't all what it's cut up to be, brute intelligent. So like you said, when you reach them, because there is my father and his generation, these guys are in their 80s, again, the parents, his parents, I was, influenced by them. If they had lived, they'd have been in their hundreds right now. So, and I'm definitely going on 60. So when you try to have these conversations, even with your own generation, because I consider a OG nothing more than a generation thing. Like Brother Sheep say, these guys call me OG, or guys of my generation, or I like I was telling the brother Gab, I call him an official G, and that's a governor. That's something that governs. So, because that whole address, I think the best way to coin it would be to say servant leadership, because I'm not sure if it was. I was just reading Amos Wilson speaking on the elders and the youth, and I'm not sure if he had a heal before you build type of conversation, because he was a psychologist, so I kind of, getting some of that from him, and he speaks about how the generations, they do vary. There's some convergence and divergence, meaning that there is some expansion and recessions in terms of times, meaning that it's not necessarily that you're going to get better, as the brother Art was saying, that you want to get better, you want the generation to get better, but it's not guaranteed. And if you would look at some of that brother's work, it's kind of in there. So again, my whole thing that I'm getting from that conversation, the elders reaching the youth, I like to think that, even my name that I've chosen to surname myself, Nehemiah Israel, is heavily Latin with that whole, heal, build, counselor, leadership kind of thing. So it is, it's a thing about condescending to men of lower state. Like the brother say, you got to get out there and you got to rub elbows with folks. Now, I ain't going to say that an elder that's not skillful in dealing with the youth should do as much, because, you're going to have some skill to deal with folks, especially if they destroy, like you said, that young brother, I think it wasn't me, Kodak Black, because I heard him going in with this guy on the radio, and I kind of understood how that thing went south real quick, and it was due to it might have been a little hate there, but it was definitely, like the brother should have been a little bit more skillful in speaking to that brother, because he definitely, like the brother said, he's got an issue probably with healing, because he speak about his humble beginnings, and how turbulent they were, even if he's, being enlightened. And like I said, like you said, it's phenomenal. These young folks coming up, making these forays through the internet, and building their, getting all those accolades, if it be money, fame, or what have you, So it's a heck of a, like Art was saying, there are lanes, there are levels to this thing. So when it comes to, like I said, I consider my folks elders, they're in their 80s. If you're in that range, in that 50 to 70 year old where we at, I consider us, in that stage of governance, if that's a term. Again, it's a leadership thing that I think that starts at the bottom, like the brother said. You got to start at the bottom to be an effective leader, and doesn't mean, again, like I said, if I'm gonna get something from Art, from not Art, but Amos Wilson, he does a real good treatment on that whole spectrum of, brothers, and the dilemma that we have in these different lanes that we have, and it's a healing treatment, but it's also at the same time a building kind of thing, and it's a governance and leadership. So no, that was a good conversation, man. That's a good topic. Social media, certainly not, because like I said, if I didn't do anything with my cousin that's 61, I'm 50, I'm 59, I'll be 59 this month, and so you have a lot of guys that are my age, and it might be 10 or 20 of us that try to conversate through social media, and it's a stretch for us to even communicate with one another, man. It's mind blowing. You'd be surprised at trying to talk to guys that think that they really still think that the phone is a mind control thing, and they got all these conspiracy theories as to, what it's worth, because it's kind of new. It wasn't here 10, 15 years ago. Maybe in our formative years, those warrior builder years, them guys that are 30 and right under 50, those are the years that you really put in that work, if you would, even like your brother say, become an elder, become an OG, or, depending on this perspective that you look at. I look at it from spiritual versus political, social media. Because, even when I went to my cousin's house, he got this older phone. He done the thing, but, it's not something that he's really interested in. He's not really trying to communicate with most. But if you were in his place, though, he had media everywhere, books, had the music. He had a ton of CDs, a ton of DVDs. I'm like, that's unbelievable. I said, man, that's a lot of media. I said, but this phone is not your enemy. That there is, it's a technology that, you can get your music, your whole nine on it, but they have and this is quite a few of them. Again, if I say it's about 10 or 20 of them, then I try to, reach and try to get them to understand that, you need to be a little bit more progressive, I imagine, but it's not a mandate, It's not like something that, you want to really charge somebody with that, it's like, that's that double honor when you're able to do, like the brother say, be an OG instead of just an older person, to be a accountable leader versus just a person that, just doing a thing. So it's a double honor that goes with being able to do those things that y'all talking about. So let me do this. What I want to do is I want to fall back for a minute because I got to drop this junk over here in this blender, but I'm not going anywhere. So but that's my initial, yeah.
Okay, we still be here. Don't worry about it, bro. Okay, cool. Brother Ra, I'll send you. Let me know you want to get on the panel or not. Okay. What she stay asleep while I was bringing up our social media. I think about I was seeing quite a few things. I mean, from our generation that bothers me, and I feel that our generation, some of us as our generation, is not showing discipline to show the right way how to conduct yourself in social media. And then when the young ones make a certain mistake, we just want to knock them down. We don't use social media for the benefit. We don't take time to learn about their talents. And our young people, they're very talented. More advanced than when I was coming up. But we just do not take the time to let them know that they special. Let me pull you inside. Let me show you, give you a little something. So they could advance more. And of this series that I'm doing, brother, is very dear to me. Because little by little, we losing our youth in numbers, in big numbers. And of my form, what I'm doing, I'm willing to deal with this conversation, and it goes for me too. It has to be accountability in my generation of all aspects. And I want you to how do you feel about it? What I'm talking about. We see he come back and everything. But yeah, brother Rob, that's just true of the crack era too. That's it, the crack era too. But even like when I was growing up I was going through that problems too. So how do we keep on building that? I mean, not how, but there's ways we can build on that. And you know, we don't even explain of the critical of the system has robbed them too, robbed their parents and stuff of the crack era too. That's true. I agree on that. For me, it's deeper than that. It's much more deeper than that, and I just want our generation to just do more. Just do more. It's not about having money to build programs. Gotta be there. Gotta put your body in. We gotta put your body in. You gotta be there. And that's what I want to be. Just be there. No.
Now you want to kind, JT. I imagine that you sort of like myself. There are a handful of brothers that are, you know, older and could be considered an elder and OG that had that same, you know, what's the word that we would look for? Or that same, not so much accountability, but certainly same. And then again, like I said, it's a governance thing. Once you get to this level, that's what it's all about, is governance. So if you really good at calling, you know, different groups together, and I noticed, like I said, a lot of, you know, the hard working brothers, you know, they 20, 30s and 50s, they really flock to the conversation, and they bring it real heavy. They brute intelligent. They be knocking it out the park in terms of you know, putting in work. So to get someone era that has passed, you know, the work era that has passed, but they are in this, like I said, governance stage. They are in the leadership stage. That's where they are at. So you're doing a great job, and understand that the herd was thin to get at that level, even if it's just older. Hell, like the brother just said, a lot of them lost to the crack era. A lot of them lost to the penitentiary. I mean, a lot, and some really not impressive numbers. I mean, cause half of the cats that I talked to, that I was telling you about, most of them have been to prison. Most of them have been to, you know, lost to the crack era. You know, so it's you got to count yourself worthy to be still standing. You know, after a half a decade, going into the later stage, that that governance stage, which is to say, being able to, like you said, reach them warriors, reach them healers and them builders, you know, guys that are, you know, catching hell, like the young cats, you know, that, like you say, they may have not had someone to instruct them on how some of this stuff works. There's a gap there, and that they have to have someone to help them correct themselves. You know, like the brother said, I throw that monkey wrench in there so that they say, okay, you know, I mean, I'm not going to smoke no weed with them. I'm not going to drink no drink with them, but I'm certainly going to be there, you know, if they need, you know, to lean on the shoulder, if they got a question, you know, that counselor, like I say, that governor, that guy's going to hear the concern and not judge them. You know, they ain't saying that's what a governor does, judge somebody, but it's simply there to you know, to get them the monkey wrench. Hey, what about this here, man? That kind of thing. Just a sounding board. Because that work stage, that's where it's at. That's where that double honor come in at. Like I said, the work you put in, and that's how you get to be at that stage. That's how you get to be older and elder. I like to do it both because, like I said, I think that it comes. It's not to say it's over for them. Like you said, if you're gonna live 60, 70, and 80 years, and you haven't done some of those things that you could be worthy of counting worthy of being an elder, you're lucky to have to get older, and that's cool too. I don't knock anybody that can attain to those lofty years. But again, the double honor does come to someone that put a little extra in. Like you said, if you are offering some help to the guys that are on the front line, you're there. I think me myself, I never did get out of it. I don't pat myself on the back to be either one. That'll represent itself.
No, I don't. See, and that's the point, cut your big bro, and that is our problem too. And we want to pat ourselves in the back too much, but we ain't do the damn work. You hear what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like, I talk to people, say, you like talk, I don't care, it doesn't make a difference. That's me. And I'm in McDonald's, I'm eating. I know sometimes I eat wrong. I got to work on that 2019. But I make sure that sometimes I be tired. But if I rest, I say, I got a little time. I'm trying to do my best that if a young one at McDonald's or fast food place or whatever, I'm trying to talk to them and see how they feel during the day. That's my joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they go through something, it's all right, and that's what it is too. And I feel good. I actually feel good when I talk. I could have the shittiest day, but if I talk to a young brother, put a smile on their face, and it's gonna be all right and everything. And maybe none of them don't appreciate you. I appreciate your greatness. You gonna fall through. You just gotta stick it in, and it's all right. It's a cold word. I sometimes point in my face and let them know the skin color. I know what you're going through and everything. And then when you put it, yeah, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's what a servant leader is. This one brother, Jason Wilson. Are you familiar with him? He got a little. He got a book called "When Men Cry," something like that. I've never read the book, but I've seen a couple of videos of his, and he teaches like these young folk how to do the martial arts. So that's that other, work that brother's doing. But he does stress that servant leadership, like you said. You ain't looking for no reward in the here and now, or a pat on the back. None of that. Like you said, your reward is in the youth, which could be the future, or your reward, like you said, it could be another time. Like you said, it ain't about money. It ain't about this and that. And that's you speaking yourself. And I agree with that. So, yeah, you ain't said nothing wrong there, brother.
And you got to be in alignment with that. You have to understand that when you help people, when you help kids, don't look for the reward. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they okay.
Yeah,
make sure they okay. Money is good. You got to make sure money is all that. I agree on that wholeheartedly. Yeah. She stay asleep. Come back, brother. People ask.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I was just letting y'all chop it up.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Salute to the OG Nehemiah Israel.
Yes, sir. Sure. How you doing, Terry?
I'm good, man. How you been, man?
Yeah, I can't complain, bro. It don't help, right?
Yeah, great to see you though, man. Great to see you.
Yes, sir. I got a lot out of, that thing. I was trying to tell them how I was looking into Amos Wilson. I seen some of your work in there, that healing process, and this other brother talking about, that servant leadership. Hey, have you heard of this cat named Jason Wilson, When Men Cry?
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah, he bearded brother. He does have an Israelite kind of thing, but he is out there in social media. Teaches a little martial arts to the youth. Like you said, it's about getting down there and rocking out with them in some kind of way, Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I wanted to touch on too that you just said, JT, was a lot of our youth. That's one reason why they don't trust a lot of people that's older than them, is because they feel like we just trying to profit off them.
Hmm.
The youth is a lot more intelligent than we think. Why do you think these you got young dudes like Lil Yachty, who 18, 19 years old and is a multi-millionaire, and he got all types of endorsements and all of that. He did all that stuff on his own.
Hmm.
He started rapping in his room. And the youth is doing it by themselves because they don't trust people.
Yes.
So we have to speak on how do we regain the youth's trust.
Hmm.
And one of the ways is not trying to get over on them, not using the fact that you're helping them to get something out of it.
Hmm.
Because this is why the disrespect is so quick and it's so sharp, because the first thing they think when you coming up to them and you trying to give them some game, they think you trying to get something out of them.
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
So that's a very important thing too.
Yeah. And I think that, and it goes more, and people don't understand that even our age, I mean, even the generation, you have to let, you gotta let, you got, I mean, not let you, I mean, you have to let them tell them how they feel, so you will know if you're a real person, you will know, okay, this is how this is how it's gonna start from now on. Cause I've been through that myself. I had one cause you up now, I ain't up to nothing. I just, want to chop it up with you. That's all. And he said, really? I said, yeah. Ain't no, it's all right. Don't look. And then also, I have to actually tell some people off too. The way how they talk to these young people. Now you don't talk to them like that. What gives you the right to talk to them like that because you had a shitty fucking day? Do you know they probably have a worse day than you are? Huh? Do you know what they have to deal with in the house or in the neighborhood? Huh? Do you know they could be suicidal? Huh? See, we don't want to take those necessary steps and understand, family. If I sound emotional, gotta understand. I'm in these streets. I talk to our young people. And because at one time I've been through it. So I identify and they see me. So we gotta hear from DS1. We gotta hear from other people that's younger. We gotta hear from them. And we gotta act on it right this minute. And that is the damn problem.
And you know what else the youth needs after, after we give them the knowledge, after we give them all the history and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
we need to support them.
Yes.
We need to be able to get behind
Mm-hmm.
some youth and push them, meaning financial wise.
Right.
That is another reason why these young men and women don't listen to shit we have to say, because we ain't got no bread.
Nope.
Why are you telling me to get off this corner if you can't pay me to get off the corner?
Facts.
Why are you telling me stop breaking in these houses when the money that I'm getting for breaking in these houses is feeding my house? We have to just, like Art was saying, we got to be real. We got to stop talking in theory
Mm-hmm.
when dealing with our youth. We have to be straight up. And me, I'm raw. I straight tell them, listen, man, I can't tell you what not to do. Because if I was in your predicament, I'll probably be doing the same shit.
Yep.
So how am I going to sit here and tell you what not to do? But what I'm working towards is to create something so they don't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? That's what us as black men, this is the importance of brotherhood and us creating something. Because we should be able to employ our own children and their friends. Why should your son or daughter have to go work for Summer Youth? They can work in your business. They can work at your homeboy's business. See, you want them young boys to get off the corner? Then what they make every night, at least try to pay them that. If you can't pay them what they make every night, shut up.
Yep.
Keep all that preaching shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you preaching to the choir. They don't want to hear that. We have to give them things that are applicable. And this is why I like to talk to them about, personal things. Art was saying he don't like to get personal. That's him. But see, I like to talk to them on a personal level because then I can gauge why they're doing what they're doing. See, you can't find a proper solution to a problem if you don't figure out how to assess the issue first. That's just like a surgeon. He going in there cutting your damn stomach open and you in there for a damn knee fracture. He's supposed to be cutting your knee open. But that's because we don't assess these situations. And this is why I always say what I say. We got to heal before we build. Because when you talk to these young dudes and these young women, they're hopeless. They don't believe in nothing. They don't believe in God. They don't believe that it's people out here that want to see them win. And you know where that comes from? In their household first. It don't come from social media. It don't come from them being outside on a corner. It comes from their mothers and their fathers. And their aunts and their uncles and their cousins. Do you know how many young boys done told me I'm the black sheep in my family? Every time I walk in the house, they got something negative to say about me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I hear that too, yes.
This is why they out on the corners. Do you know how many young boys explain to me that they can't stay in the house with their mother because their mother's a hoe? And they can't deal with the fact that their mother messing with all these men? So they out in the streets trying to get money so they can move their mother out the hood so she could have money so she could stop hoeing to pay her bills. Like these are real situations that are going on with our youth. These are real family situations. Do you know how many young girls are being prostituted by their own mother? Yeah, that's real life. Yep. That's not something you just see on the news. That's going on right now as we speak.
Yeah.
This is real life stuff, man. This is why we got to stop playing. They don't want to hear about Kemet. His mama out in the street smoking crack, and she's a prostitute. You can't tell that boy about Kemet yet. He don't want to hear about that. How he gonna get his mama off the street? You know how he gonna get his mama off the street? He gonna become a rapper, and he gonna get signed, and he gonna move out his neighborhood and take his mama with him. Then you wonder why these young boys love the hip hop industry. That's what's saving their life. We ain't saving their life.
Nope.
We can't go and give a Rondo number 9 $1 million. That's why the boy's sitting in jail right now. Him and his homeboy, 35 and 45 years for killing a cab driver. Come on. This is real life. And he was just about to get signed.
Yeah, it's true.
Gone. Rondo number 9 from Chicago. See what I'm saying? Like we gotta be dealing with in reality with these kids. These kids are dealing with some crazy shit. And they dealing with more stuff than we had to deal with. When I was growing up, I ain't had to worry about that.
That's right.
But when I talk to these young boys, this is the stuff they tell me. You know how many young boys and young women go in the house and they don't got nothing to eat?
None. Nope.
Why you think they smoke so much weed? You know how many young boys that'll sit around you all day long as you got weed, but won't ask you to buy them nothing to eat because they're ashamed and they know they starving. They probably ain't eating 2 days. Like this is real life. You can't hang around me without eating. Like this is real life shit. And a lot of people take this stuff for granted. We think that this stuff is gonna end because we tell them, oh, the great Black history. That's not gonna feed them.
Not gonna feed them. Nope.
That's not gonna feed them. That's not gonna get their mother off drugs. That's not gonna get their grandmother that kidney transplant that she need. When all they love is grandma. But she on her deathbed.
Yep.
So we really gotta stop. If we really trying to do something, we gotta stop playing. We really do. We sit here and bash hip hop. We want to bash hip hop, but hip hop saved a lot of these young dudes' lives, man. Especially in Chicago. Social media is what's getting all them boys killed out there. But I could name 5 drill rappers right now who don't even talk about shooting ops no more because they millionaires. Because their mother is safe, their children is safe. They have a better quality of life. Like what Art was saying, they are out of the environment. And they don't never have to go back if they don't want to. Hip hop did that. How many conscious people have done that? How many people in the conscious community have done that? You could go to one of these conscious events and be homeless and ask them for something to eat. They might not even give you shit. Come on, man. Rap saved them dudes' lives. The G Herbos, the Little Durks, the Chief Keefs, the FBG Ducks. Hip hop saved their life. It saved their life just like it saved Rakim, my homie Kool G Rap. Listen to all the old school rappers. What they tell you? Hip hop saved their life.
Yep.
If it wasn't for hip hop, they'd either be dead or in jail. Jay-Z done said it. Rick Ross said it.
A lot has said it.
All of them said it. So why we want to keep demonizing hip hop? Hip hop ain't the problem. Hip hop is not the problem. The problem is the media. It's the media. It's what's being said about what's going on in hip hop is the issue. Look at Tekashi. People want to talk about Tekashi. Tekashi was willing to get extorted and be accomplices to crimes because he got tired of sleeping on his mother's floor with his baby mother. So he sacrificed his own life just to put him and his family in a better predicament. Tekashi, what? 20 years old? But we keep attacking this young boy. He only did what he only made the best decision he thought was possible for himself. Tekashi got on a Breakfast Club and said his mother, him, his brother, his baby mother, him and his baby mother himself lived in one apartment, and it had like two or three rooms. He said he called it a shotgun house. That means it goes straight through. Everything is next to each other. And that boy, look at what he's facing now. He did all of this because he got tired of being poor. He got tired of sleeping on the floor. That's what these young boys is doing. They're forced to do this stuff. It's called survival. I don't want to live like this. And when you talk to some of these young dudes and these young women, they rather do what they do to live a better life. And if they can't do that, they rather die. They rather die. They rather die. This is why he put himself in that predicament. We got to sympathize with the youth, man. We can't just sit here and find every reason to blame kids. Come on. We can't do that. We cannot think that a 17, 18-year-old kid knows the rap business well enough to understand what he's a part of. We can't put that on them. Where are the dudes around them that's telling them the right shit? Where are they at? Oh, those dudes got to get their money up. See, the dudes who doing all the foul shit to them, they got their bread because you got to pay to play. So this is how they could be in the game and they could finesse these young dudes and have them doing stuff they ain't supposed to be doing and this, that, and the third. See, them dudes that was with Tekashi and them, they got money. They from Brooklyn. They from Bed-Stuy. Them same dudes used to run around with Jim Jones and Dipset. Them same dudes that's locked up right now with Tekashi. Them same dudes used to run with Dipset. They're a street team. That's what they do. They extort rappers. That's what they're known for. Shoddy, all of them do. They extort rappers. And they found little Tekashi and they created him. Tekashi's not a gang member. He's a kid. He's a kid. They made him like that. They created Tekashi 69. And they pushed him. And they told him to rap what he want to rap about. Say the most craziest stuff you could say. If anybody do anything to you, we'll kill them. This is what they told Tekashi. This is why he was doing what he was doing. You think he just had all that confidence for nothing? You think he was faking jacks popping up in Chicago the way he was doing? If all this stuff wasn't, prepackaged and planned? But this is what the youth is left to deal with when the people that got the real game plan don't got the money. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we have to do. This is why I'm so in favor for brotherhood. So we can create like the elder, what's the name was saying, man? And he from Chicago. I forgot his name. That's my dude. Pharaoh said that. We need to go corporate. We need to start creating businesses and incorporate them. That's how you build generational wealth, through corporations, through business. So that way, we don't have to worry about our young dudes that's coming out our neighborhoods that's entering the rap game to get caught up the way Tekashi did, because he has advisors. Tekashi didn't have no advisors. He didn't have a council. He didn't have people who was protecting him for his own well-being. Everybody was around him because they were taking from him. And this is why these young dudes go and sign these deals now, and they don't want no managers, and they don't want no people around them that's gonna advise them, because the people who they expected to tell them the truth lied and led them astray. So it's our job to be able to play in the game. We gotta play in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit here and complain about hip hop, but don't got nothing to do with hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
All you are is a consumer. Come on, come on. We could do something. We could be the street team. We could be the social. Do you know? Right now, there's a position at every rap label called social media promoter, where they hire people just for you to run these guys' social media. We could at least be doing that, because social media is a powerful thing. Media itself is powerful. And if we don't start to put out those right messages and those right images, we can't expect the youth to not to think about anything than what they see. Because that's what media is. That's what propaganda is. If you go on Instagram, the first thing you see when you go on Instagram, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see an IG model, or you're going to see some jewelry. So this is what's being promoted. But if you have more guys out here that was a little more in touch with the youth and these young rappers and music and all of that, man, and we was able to put out better messages, man, then we'll see better results. You see, Meek Mill ain't just become positive now because he went to jail. He always had dudes around him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He always had dudes around him that was pushing him to do the right thing. But now he see how important it is, because now he understand what he's up against.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's our job. That's our job. We have to do that. But in order to get to these youth, man, we got to be in touch with the music. We got to be in touch with the sports. Because that's what our youth is running to, man, because we living in the inner city, we living in poverty. And the fastest ways to get out the hood is you either gonna sell drugs, commit crime, you gonna rap, or you gonna play sports. You see? A lot of these young men and women is not trying to sit in the neighborhood for the next 10 years to become a doctor. Not doing it, man. They just not doing it. And it may sound bad, and I'm not condoning the youth not to become doctors, but I'm just a person that deal with a situation based on what I'm left to deal with at this time. So let's deal with the situation for what it is currently. They want to be rappers. They want to be scammers. They want to be ball players. Let's still get to them.
Right.
There's no excuse. We don't have to throw out hip hop for us to have doctors. All of our children don't want to be rappers. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So come on, man. We as brothers, we just gotta get together, man, and we gotta create something. We gotta create something. And we could start with our own families. You know? That's just what we have. We have to do that. Because that's all them record labels are, bro. All them record labels and them NBA teams, that's all they are. Those are a bunch of corporations that them white men created, and they got their friends and their families involved.
Yeah.
And now everybody's rich.
Yeah.
We can do the same shit.
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth. That's all it is.
So
We could do the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the same thing, man.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. We need to hear that. And once it's outside, that needs to hear that too. We gotta start from somewhere, family. We brothers. It's so important to have these conversations, but when we have these conversations, we gotta act on it. So I'm willing. I am willing to put myself out there to have a spark, but I want to keep that spark going. And we have to be there of all levels. Big bro.
Yeah, I'm still here. Got my smoothies all done and tucked away, and I was able to join back in. My brother T was building there about that youth, and ain't nothing new. You know, I like to think that in our community of black folk, that like they say, the elder, the hoary head has been cut off. You know, it's like it's not a lot there. You know, like I was sharing earlier, my dad and them in the 80s something, he told me the other day, he said, what y'all gonna do when we gone here? He's talking about the guys that are 80. And he's talking about my generation, you know, that we get so much from them guys just by having them around, and whatever we talk about, they tend to be able to bring in a little jewel here and there in the conversation, even if they are maybe absent-minded in this new and update information. Like your brother keeps bringing it in. He able to bring in the ball players. He able to bring in the entertainers. He able to bring in the socioeconomic of the youth, because he spoke about, poverty and those choices, family structures, and what's not there. Like he said, there's no black-owned, black businesses, black economies. They're there, but they're very, anemic. It's not enough to, shore up the communities. It could be done, like the brother said, it definitely could be done, and I think that in the midst of an oppressive society, that's what I like to think. Again, Nehemiah is about building in times of oppression. You can do this. It ain't nothing new, dealing with it while it's going on. You can't be no cowards if you would, So yeah, it's a topic that doesn't get old in each time. Like you said, in the now, right now, I think that I ain't gonna say think, but he did mention about consciousness. Said the consciousness is consciousness winning the war. I would definitely say not this consciousness that we call consciousness that be all of this. I can dig battling. Iron sharpening iron. I can dig poor righteous teachers. I don't think that gain is everything. That's just me. And I know that, like I said, we suffer from lack of knowledge. So if he start speaking about young men that are under 30, the ones that should be getting that knowledge from them 30 to 50-year-olds, the ones that are actually running the program. I mean, and that's that them. It's hard to give them a lane for show, but certainly that's where it really takes place. So that era, that generation that he's speaking of, you know, they got to learn, and it's such a this phenomenon has created, this social media. It's created, like you said, millionaires and billionaires out of some real tumultuous times. It's not. Uh, it's pretty rough. I mean, he did speak on a lot of issues, especially like you say, not being able to eat and choosing, addiction, the drugs, choosing crime, choosing, all these things, and then turn around and get rewarded for those choices, and wind up in a safe place, if you would. It's like an oxymoron, perhaps. But the messages in their music and their struggle, you can't help but if you got any kind of consciousness, understand it. Uh, like you say, the IG, this model, I kind of understand some of it. I'm not down like a lot of brothers that, like you say, my brother Pharaoh said that he really got a passion for the youth and communicating on those topics that they would communicate. And he's got his own little style. I mean him. There's a couple other locals here. Dawa, Israel. There's quite a few other talking heads, if you would, that chimes in on these conversations regarding our communities, our youth, our families, our economies, on and on. The information that we trying to get to them. Because like the brother said, it's about throwing that monkey wrench in there because they definitely got a lot more education than we have. Like you say, JT, they definitely come along at a time where this information is, man, it's changing every, used to be 18 months, it might even be a little quicker now. So I can't imagine somebody that my age, in my generation, over 50, trying to even try to keep up with the stuff that my kids that are 20 and 30 years old able to regurgitate by running up and down, these streets, like you say, the block, trying to make a way, trying to fit into the fabric of things, trying to, make their apprentice sure, trying to assure themselves, to actualize themselves, to get into the 30s, to be able to bring that brute intelligence, to bring that knowledge, to bring that stuff that, might be lacking a little wisdom, but it's definitely on point. It's like, man, you can't really knock that knowledge. But then here comes wisdom. Wisdom makes it all like, wow, and that, is simply removing, all these things that we kind of understand, the sureties and so forth. It's like, wow, it removes, all that it adds an element of humanity, put it that way. That's all I can really say about that. But no, that's topic I think, like I said, it'll never get old as long as we're in these times. There's a thing that says, there's a precept that we have in the scripture. Again, I use it, but it's in our communities it said the rulership of the woman and the oppression of the children. I ain't gonna say that anybody, 20 to 30 are children, as you said, that's a young kid. I'm like, no, if they were, if they had the right structure, the right family, I mean, the family that I would like to imagine, they need to understand it right around that age, 16 and 17. They should have a basic knowledge to get out there and do the thing. That's what we socialize these children to do. We're not, like they say, that primitive where we don't give them enough so that they could do. But if they, like you say, lacking fathers, lacking mothers, having mothers and fathers that are, ill, destroyed in their mindset, you can understand it all. You can get to understand, some of all that stuff, as to our community, But it's a challenge. And it ain't everybody, like he spoke, he said, to find name 5. And I said, yeah, that's 5 of quite a few. And then he spoke about the other majority that's suffering, the majority. But then, like you say, the very few that make it through. And these are the ones that, got the world stacked against them. They beat the odds. That's what I like to think. Like the brother Art said, we're the best thing since sliced bread as a people. And in the end, like the brother said, it's possible. It's very possible to like you say, get another championship for this family, for this community, for these people. The best thing since sliced bread. Keeping this information, staying woke, not in the sense where, like I said, it seems like it's a competition and what's simple, but in the sense that best practices, best life, that's the kind of thing that I think need to happen. Like you said, it's not about getting a reward. It's about putting a program together where the access is equal for everybody, and we healthy in it. And we're able to build and we're able to defend at the same time. It's kind of simple, again. But yeah. But no. Again, I can go on and on about it. From this perspective, I'm talking about somebody that come up in Chicago all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what the economy is, how we navigate the economy, the families that we have, that the formal economy, the families that are partaking, hardworking folk, and the informal economy, the ones that fall through the crack, that, like you said, up and down the block, and the gunshots and all of the, the mixing, the two existing, the bad with the good existing in that same environment. To remove yourself from that environment, if you would, I'm like, I don't think it's possible. That's why I think you should contend for whatever it is you feel in the environment that you're in. I don't care to go to someone else's community or environment, and that's what I think a servant leader does. He go into his own house, he go into his own community, and that's where he's going to, put his work in at. Like your brother was saying, he spoke about a lower vibration of the social media and a higher vibration of out in the real world, the real economy, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it for me, it's about, again, that economy that I consider my own, or the existence that I consider my own. I'm appreciative of, like you say, humanity, but it's certainly a showing up. A lot of people say black first. It's a showing up of us that it's a crisis that needs to be addressed, and it's been around for a long while. So like I said, you could never, tire. Even if like that brother, like to say, entered into consciousness at 19. Pharaoh said that. I said, yeah, I was right there with you. That black power has been in my blood and vein for years and years and years as well. So the fight It's an ongoing fight. It's real, and that reward it seems to be a long way away.
Mhm.
But it's about faith. If you ask me, it's about faith that you know we can do this. One thing we got to do is get back to the basics. Get back to simple stuff that works. And best practices. Like you said, it's about going down there and rubbing shoulder with the youth. It's about going in that family and hanging in there and dealing with um, those situations that we have within our families, and doing these collaborations to build businesses. The list is long. The information is there. We're in the information age, so that's not an excuse. It's like everything is it's right where it's supposed to be, and I think it's another one of those championships, if you would, Jay, to get that we have to achieve that.
Okay. Stay right there. Last remarks. Then after that, she states the last remark. Then I put my own thing on it, and I'm ghosting this.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna just say my last remarks about this topic is you know let's just be let's focus on being an asset to whatever to our community, or if you consider this a community, or I'm gonna just say be an asset to your people, be an asset to your family, be an asset to your friends, and be an asset to whoever you want to share yourself with. That's I think if we just focus on that simple premise, man, I feel like a lot more will get done, especially dealing with the youth. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that that's what it's all about. Being an asset to them, being an asset to where you're from.
Right.
To try to build something, to leave something there for them. Because that's also what a legacy is too. People don't just remember you by your words, but they remember you by what you've done. And if us as black men could begin to leave certain things in our neighborhoods, man, certain businesses, certain, be able to establish certain things, I think, and I don't think we'll probably be here to see it, but I would say within the next 20, 30, maybe 50 years, man, I think things may be better. Things may be better. But shout out to everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and y'all go check me out on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. That's Sheep Stay Sleep TV, one word. And I catch y'all. Peace.
Peace. Good looking. Thanks for coming, for your insight.
Peace out, Sheep. Peace out, Sheep. Yes, like you said, the assets, I agree. I also think that there's a falling away that takes place before it gets better. I think it's gonna get worse before it get better. But then that's why you got to be. It's a real battle. It ain't gonna be no easy victory. You're gonna have to really be courageous. You got to really dig in. You got to sweat this thing, man. I'm talking about to get on the right squad, to get on the right side of the rendering, as the brother said. The rendering is that they survived. Not survived, but they lived. They chose the right thing. They chose the right thing. They persevered. Not acquiesce, but persevere. They stay focused and stay on the path. So that is. To me, that's the best I can do. The impetus is like, okay, leaving money, leaving material, but then also is leaving, like I say, some words. Words are good too. You
Yeah.
know, words are life. That's me. I'm like you said, these videos. If you don't do nothing but leave a video that's positive, that's cool too. Building businesses, of course, all the things that everybody around these communities have a list of. It's the other ones that we have to address. The stuff that we gotta weed out. The ones we gotta fight. That ignorance. We gotta fight that poverty. We gotta fight. The oppression. So yeah, that's about all I have for this evening. I thank everybody for supporting my brother JT, Chief Stay Sleep, Art, and everybody in the chat. Yeah, and I do have a little small channel. Y'all are most welcome to go over there and subscribe. To encourage me to keep my voice out there. As everybody else should do as well. So grace and peace, everybody. Everybody have a good evening.
Thanks a lot, big brother. I usually make it like 5-10 minutes, but I'm gonna make it short. She Stay Sleep. He had made hashtag kill before we build, and I just created a hashtag I think less than an hour ago. Every time I look at it, oh, Tay Brown, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for showing up. And well, I could say we gotta do better. It's if you see the hashtag, look at Sheep says hashtag is here before we build. And I thought about this when I did part 3 tonight. Support our youth now. I said I put it in the lower cap, but then didn't feel that much weight, so put in capitals. Support our youth now. Support our youth now. Support our youth now. That's all I can say. Work ain't finished yet, especially brothers. Let's be genuine what we do. It's not stop. All I can say, good night. Goes on this one.